Volume 2 of Why I Love It Here and Why I Hate It Here. Stay tuned. What's up, everyone? This is Minneapolis Living, and I'm Nick Sundahl. I run Acta Homes and Keller Williams Classic Realty Northwest. Before we get to Volume 2 of Why I Love It and Hate It Here in Minneapolis, hit that subscribe button, and while you're there, ring the bell so you're alerted every time I upload a new video on Tuesdays and Fridays. I'm going to start with reasons why I hate it here. The first reason is the traffic. The traffic is horrible. If you are driving any time between, 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. in and around the Twin Cities, or anywhere from about 3 o'clock until about 7, it can get pretty congested on our major highway systems. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of side roads to be able to take. There are some state highways and things of that nature, but ultimately, if you're a commuter, you're really going to run into some serious issues here. Fortunately, I don't have that particular situation. I get to go where I want, when I want, and how I want, but that being said, when I do get caught in those rush hour situations, it's something that drives me absolutely nuts. And frankly, for those of you who do it, I don't see how you actually can live with that. But the traffic is probably one of the worst things about the Twin Cities. The next reason why I hate it here, it's the smells. All right, stay with me. The Twin Cities doesn't stink. But if you go outside the Twin Cities only a handful of miles, you're gonna run into farmland. A lot of Minnesota is made up of farmland, and we produce pigs, chicken, turkey. They don't smell all that great when you're out on the open highway. Not to mention, there's a ton of wildlife in the state because the state is so big. You'll see plenty of roadkill, which doesn't really make those drives all that pleasant. So keep in mind that when you're driving into the outstate, you're going to drive alongside farms, through farms, what have you, and those smells, well, they can get to you. And the last reason why I hate living here, it's the taxes. The taxes, especially for state income, are fairly high when you compare it to not only our neighbors, our immediate neighbors, but the country in general. Only a handful of states have a higher tax rate in terms of state income tax than the state of Minnesota. We do have we do have a sales tax on almost everything except for food and clothing, which is nice because the state deems those as necessities. So we do get a little bit of a break when it comes to the shopping. However, the overall tax rate in the state of Minnesota, whether it's sales tax or state income tax, is fairly high. And that leads me into the first reason why I love living here, and that's quality of life. Yes, our tax base is fairly high, but that goes to pay for infrastructures such as our transit systems, our school systems, which are nationally ranked year over year, as well as supporting our natural resources, which we take very seriously here in the state of Minnesota. Also, fun fact, 40% of adults donate their time to a charitable cause. So quality of life here in the state of Minnesota, and more importantly, the Twin Cities, is one of the best reasons to live here. The next reason why I love living here are the town festivals. Whether it's the St. Paul Winter Carnival, Oktoberfest in New Ulm, or perhaps your daughter is going to be the next Raspberry Princess in the city of Hopkins. And let's not forget the granddaddy of them all, the Minnesota State Fair, which is an absolute huge party, brings together the whole state where you can have almost anything on a stick, your bucket of cheese curds or mini donuts, and the people watching is second to none. So the town festivals here in the state of Minnesota are absolutely a blast to go to throughout the year, but more importantly in the summer months. It's just a really great time to get out and meet new people and enjoy the cities that you're celebrating. And lastly, my favorite thing about living here are the resort towns. It takes a little bit to get there. You're gonna have to go out on the open road a bit, but when you take I-94 Northwest on your way to Fargo, North Dakota, you'll pass through Alexandria, you'll pass by Detroit Lakes, both of which have great resorts and cabins that you can go for your weekend getaways and or week or 2 week long vacations. You go to the central part of the state or north central part of the state and do the Brainerd-Nisswa area, which is home to Paul Bunyan and his Big Blue Ox Babe. Heading over to the east side of the state, city of Duluth. Duluth is a huge inland port city where about 80% of our country's iron ore goes in and out of that port. So that's kind of an interesting stat. And if you head up the north shore of Lake Superior, you'll hit no less than a dozen little towns where you can rent cabins or go hiking. It's an outstanding place to go watch the leaves turn in the fall, and if you just want to get away from the city. So that's what I love and hate about Minnesota. You thinking about moving to Minnesota? Do you already live here and want to move? Please reach out. You can call, text, email, slide into my DMs if you so choose. Honestly, I would love to hear from you. Also, what do you love about Minnesota? What do you hate about it? Please comment below. This is Minneapolis Living. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.